On this episode, we continue with part 2 of Scott's interview. Is it part 2? I don't remember. You'll have to remind me. But Scott opens up about his adulthood.
Yes, this is part 2 of the interview.
Okay. But actually, after you see what Scott did, it's really just more of his childhood.
And Steve tries not to get us in too much trouble.
Yeah, but Scott goes there anyways and tells the stories anyways. I think we did leave a couple out that would have got us in more trouble.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, they switch over to the new Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I saw that. Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be doing a whole series, not just one movie. But that brought up a whole new subject with D23.
Which, of course, runs us out of time. So guess what? We're going to finish with that subject on the next show.
Welcome to What Happened to the World Today. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott. And this is the tale of how bad life decisions led to a YouTube show and podcast.
And we're going to talk about what we've noticed is going on in the world today.
Yes, we are.
And today will be part 2 of Scott. Scott's
part 2.
Part 2, like Top Gun Part 2.
No, it wasn't Top Gun. It was a spoofed one.
But before we talk about Scott, let's talk about me.
Let's talk about you, baby. Let's talk about
where I was. Notice I'm wearing red in honor of the Cardinals.
Because of the St. Louis Arch in the background?
The St. Louis Arch in the background. Yeah, I was very fortunate. I checked into my hotel. Checked in about 5:45, and they go, "Hey, how would you like to go to a Cardinals game tonight?" I'm like, "What? Huh?
What?"
I'm like, "Okay, I guess so. Why not?" So, you know my rules. My rules are if it's free, doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Right? The plan isn't you're not going in this to hurt somebody. It's not illegal. It's not immoral. I'm going to go, yes, why not?
Sure. Yeah.
So they gave me the ticket, and they said, okay, game starts at 6:45. And I'm like, well, I'll go change and all that. So I go change, and then fortunately I could drive over to the metro station, which is free parking, $5 round-trip ticket to take the train in and out of the game.
Can't bitch about that at all.
So as I'm leaving, she's like, look, we got a bunch more tickets. We're not going to be able to give them away to anybody. So why don't you take these and pass them out on the train on your way there? And she gives me a stack of like 20 tickets. And I'm figuring these are bleacher seats or something because it's the left field. And I'm like, okay, but it's the left field porch. It's called the left field porch.
Okay.
That's the seats right there. You're looking at out from my seats, looking out towards center field. If you were looked out, I am right on the – oh, no, this is before I got there. But my seats are actually to the left. You see where that big Mac sign is? Well, you won't be able to see that because that'll get cut off in here.
Right.
But, yeah, they were great seats. I mean – it was just up above the bleachers in a private deck, maybe about 20 rows, had its own private bar back there. Its own snack thing. I was like in the same row as the box seats.
Right.
And as you can see on the other side, it goes up 1, 2, 3 levels up. But I was actually one level up the bleachers. They were great seats. It was fantastic seats. I was truly, truly amazing. So got to go to the game. And of the tickets I was able to pass out on the train in, 10 people showed up to the game.
Cool.
Got to go for free. And the Cardinals are in first place.
See, now if you were in Milwaukee, you could have gone to the little squared off area that they have, and you could have resold them as long as you don't sell them for more than the face value.
Yeah, they had to sell you there. It was a second inning by the time I got there. I didn't care about selling them. I was just giving away. I didn't want to give them away in front of the guys that were selling them because I didn't want to get beat up. But yeah, so that was a good part of my travels. When I was flying,
and look how full that stadium is too. So I can't believe that people weren't glomming them.
Yeah, it was great. And then, well, like I said, it was second inning, so people are probably already in if they were going in. And then on my way to Memphis, I flew to Memphis first. My plane broke down before I got on it, so I switched planes in Midway Airport, and they're out there, and they took something off of the engine.
Really, you ended up at Midway Airport?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And I couldn't get Homerton Pizza either way because the first one, I didn't know where it was. I couldn't find it, and I had time. And the second one on my way back, I had 15 minutes between flights because my flight was late coming back.
Could have Grubhubbed it.
And I was maybe, I don't know. But, yeah, it was brutal. So, but I was in gate like A29. I had to go around to B9. So in 15 minutes, I had to make the whole loop around the whole set of gates. I made it with like 5 minutes to spare, but there was like
so you had to make a beeline to B9.
Yeah, there was like 40 people in line at Homerton Pizza, so I didn't get myself a pizza. So I was kind of bummed about that. But yeah, other than that, good trip, got stuff accomplished. So won't have to travel again for another couple of weeks, but then I'll have to travel again. But other than that, we're in good shape.
Cool beans.
Well, what do you got going on behind you? I see you have
those are sandpiper cranes.
Sandpiper cranes just hanging out at some building.
Okay, here's what's funny. I was driving for a wedding, picked the bridal party up from the hotel, took them to the church. I'm sitting in the bus at the church in the back of the parking lot. I'm about 25, 30 feet away from the junior high school, which is behind me, obviously next to the church. The bridal party comes out, and they're taking pictures out by this tree because there's these beautiful giant oak trees with the middle school. They went to the middle school there, so they took pictures of that in the background.
Oh, that's great.
Kind of cool. Yeah. And while they're doing that, these 3 sandpaper cranes are in the field, which is a farm field behind the church. And they walk up 10 feet away from me, and they're looking across the parking lot at the bridal party. They see all the flowers because, everybody's got flowers. So they didn't want to walk in front of me, but they walked between me and the school to get closer to the bridal party. I'm like, this is so cool. They're not even afraid.
Well, they were so polite that they didn't walk in front of you.
Yes. They were very polite birds.
That's always funny.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can screw up the show here by changing the background.
I know. I'd like to do that later on too, and I was a little nervous because of the trouble we had last time.
I just did it, but there it is. Those were my seats.
There you go.
My seat's in the way of my seats, but yeah.
Yes.
Those are not bad seats.
No.
So those are not $7 bleacher seats too. Those are a little more expensive. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
But yeah, that doesn't have the arch in it. So I was like, no.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So I just want to say that the Cardinal fans are weird. Something very, very unique happened in the game. Bases are loaded, no outs.
Okay.
I guess that's boring for them.
Okay.
So that's when they start the wave.
Really?
And they start the wave by starting in left field. That loud countdown goes down from the left field rowdies or whatever they're called. And they start going 10, 9, 8, which is pretty loud. And then they start the wave. And like that's when they decided to start the wave, when bases are loaded and no outs. Then it gets the bases loaded and 2 outs and a left-hander's up to bat and it gets to full count. And now they're really cranking the wave. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, this is like all the runners are going to be running. Everything's going. This is when something exciting is going to happen. And sure enough, it did. The left-hander hits. The guys are running. He hits the ball. It goes over the shortstop and third baseman's head, and they're running towards the left fielder. Left fielder's running in at them, and they peel off towards center field, both the shortstop and the third baseman, and the left fielder peels off towards the third base line, and the ball drops. All 3 runs score, and the guy who hit it ends up on second. And they're all like looking at each other going, ooh. So the Brewers didn't do really good there. But, yeah, I just found that amusing that that's when they decided to start the wave during that part of the baseball game. But your team's in first place, so you can do whatever you want.
My dad grew up in St. Louis. So I grew up hearing the Missouri motto, show me. So obviously that's what the wave must have meant. Show us what you got.
That was crazy. But, okay, so let's segue with that back into your interview. So for those of you who didn't hear the first part of Scott's interview, go back, listen to our previous show. And you hear all about Scott's childhood. And
yes.
Scott's childhood.
Well, not all about it, but a lot about it.
A lot about it.
I did leave out some interesting tidbits.
I'm going to switch to this one. There's a guy working on
All right, now we got a jet engine.
Yeah, the guy working on my jet engine.
Yes.
You can see him working on that.
I've been working on the engine.
For those of you on the podcast, you'll have to go check out the YouTube channel.
Yes, you will.
What picture should I put? Should I put the one with the arch back
I know,
up?
but you're strobing tonight.
Yeah, I know. Should I put the one with the arch back up?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll put the one with the arch back up. There we go. That one didn't strobe.
Better. More better.
So cool. So there it is. So we've got through Scott's childhood. We got to the fact that he actually did not work for his father in the family business to start. He actually worked for McDonald's. So what was your transition?
No. You said that backwards.
What? But you worked at your dad's business, then you went to work for McDonald's. Then,
right. Then I went back.
Then you went back to your dad.
Yes.
Well, it's your story.
Yes. Well, it's a true story.
I'm just revision historying it.
There you go. Yes, because by the time you met me, we were in our second location. First location, my dad finally sold and because he wanted to retire.
Yeah.
Didn't work so good. After 2 years of being at home all day, he went nuts. So he picked up a couple part-time jobs. Nothing worked out. Finally said, screw it. I'm reopening another donut shop in Glendale Heights, Illinois. Woohoo! Yay! Which is where Steve and I met. So if you look up Glendale Heights, Illinois, you'll go, oh my God, that's an armpit. Oh, no, it's not really.
No, it isn't. Glendale Heights was nice. I'm going to try resetting my green screen. So you keep talking.
Okay.
So tell me about where were you at school? Where were you living? And your dad said he didn't want you driving back and forth to that place, right? Or
well, yes. When we had the location in Melrose Park, we lived in Wooddale, Illinois. Between my sophomore and junior year of high school, my parents, because the donut shop had made us good money. We were upper middle class. And my parents bought a piece of property in the Lake Zurich area. It's a beautiful 1 acre lot, wooded lot in a very nice subdivision, and they custom built a house. Well, we moved in at the beginning of my junior year. And that was Lake Zurich now to Melrose Park was a 45-minute drive versus the 20-minute drive it used to be from Wooddale. So my dad, since I was just a brand new driver, he didn't want me driving that far. That's what ended up happening.
Plus, that's officially driving into the city.
Yeah, close. Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, traffic-wise, it's close enough.
Not Milwaukee. Melrose Park. Yeah, I keep saying Milwaukee because that's what I have here now. But anyway, so worked with McDonald's, worked for Tom McCann Shoes for a couple of years, and my dad couldn't handle it being part-time at these other places, so we reopened a new location in Glendale Heights, and he asked me to come back. So I came back and became the night manager. I did all the baking.
Which is the toughest job. Selling it and cleaning up during the day is easy.
In the grand scheme of things, yes.
Yeah.
So, but he, at first, it was the other way around. He did almost everything because it was his location.
Sure.
And then he realized that I had the knack for making donuts efficiently, and my consistency. Most people don't realize this. When you buy donuts at the grocery store, or whether you buy it from the grocery store bakery or you buy it in, pre-boxed from like Entenmann's and all that sort of stuff, all those donuts are made by machine.
Right.
Okay. Which is why they're all the same. We did everything by hand. My dad was good, but.
And I saw that.
Yes. My dad was good, but even he couldn't compete with my, what's the word I'm looking for? When everything's the same. Consistency, right. My consistency was unreal.
You were even good. You were even good with the cinnamon rolls, which I was impressed by.
Yes.
Because the cinnamon rolls is a long tube that you make, and you roll it up, and it's got weird ends and all this stuff. But Scott would still cut them, and they'd all be the same size when you fry them up.
And I was fast. I mean, I was putting out 300 dozen donuts in an 8-hour shift.
And you guys would sell most all of them, if not all of them, every day.
So, but and my dad and I talk about this every once in a while when I visit and stuff. To this day, every once in a while, I still dream about making donuts. Yeah. I haven't made a donut since the mid-'80s. And I still, it has to be mid-'80s, right?
I guess so.
When I got, mid-'80s. Yeah, because by the 90s, I was 100% up here.
That's crazy. So you and I met at the donut shop through a mutual friend.
Yep.
He was dating the girl that was working in the donut shop, or was he trying to get back with her? I don't remember, but I think he was
Fink,
dating.
right?
Yeah, Tim. Yeah,
Tim Fink. Yes, he was dating Anita. And Anita and Kathy May both worked at the donut shop, and they were best buddies.
Yep. Yes, they were.
Wow. All of you reminding me about a whole bunch of fun stuff.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yep. And, of course, we used to, you introduced me. Well, I already knew about Portillo's, but you introduced me to Galaxy World.
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy World was the bowling alley and arcade, and the arcade was as big as the bowling alley. It was as big as a Chuck E. Cheese's all by itself as the arcade. It was
just straight arcade, yeah.
Amazing.
That was pretty cool.
And, of course, we used to just rock in that place. We had so many thousands of tickets, just unbelievable. Our collections that we had for stuffed animals and glass.
Oh, yeah, the stuffed animals. We cleaned that place out of stuffed animals.
Susie, I still have some. I still have some.
I think Peggy still does, too.
But Susie finally says, here, you're donating this. She gave me like 20 bags of all these stuffed animals. And I took them to the Walworth County, what do they call that? The donations for poor kids for Christmas and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
nice.
They just went, oh my God, this is awesome stuff. And
good.
You know.
So you and I met. We did a couple radio shows. When did you move from Deerfield to Wisconsin? Was that when you got married? Were you still dating Susie? You were going up to the farm. We were shooting.
We used to drive up there while we were dating.
Okay.
After we got married, we moved to International Village in Schaumburg.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So
yeah.
two fun things. I don't remember which order they went in.
I know where you're going with this.
But the first one was we'll do the one that's not as funny to the one that's funnier. Even though it's probably not in the right order. So it was not as funny as Scott used to reload his own shells, and he would double load shells sometimes. So what we did in our infinite wisdom, idiots, would take them and put them in cardboard boxes and then shoot at them because they would explode if you hit them.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, if you hit them perfectly on the primer,
yeah,
the shell will shatter and throw shrapnel back at your face.
Yes.
So fortunately, I was wearing safety glasses, but I had a cut here
and
here where it hit me, and there was just blood pouring down my face because face.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh God.
And folks, we're good shots. We weren't 3 feet away. We were 25 feet away, and it's still back. You hit us that far back.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. So that was lesson one. Then Scott started working. How did you get connected at the?
Okay, I was doing that first. I was one of the gunfighters at the Playboy Club before I even met Susie. I was married before.
Okay.
To Bonnie Jean, and we used to come up to Lake Geneva and ride the horses, and I got into the gunfight shows there.
Okay, so he was in the Western style gunfight shows.
Yes.
And from there, you formed your own troop, Scott Thomas and the Bozeman Trail Drifters.
No. Marshall Scott Thomas and the Bozeman Trail Drifters.
Oh, excuse me.
I was Marshall Scott Thomas, of course.
So, funny story at the Playboy Club, Lake Geneva Playboy Club gunfighters. At one point, there is a guy up on the roof of the barn, and he falls off the back, gets shot, falls off the back of the barn, and then rides out in this little burrow, like a large dog-sized burrow.
Yes.
No, he's dragging his feet and everything. He rides out, and it's pretty funny, and the whole crowd laughs. Well, the burrow is supposed to be tied on the far side of the corral. Well, unfortunately, somebody new came in, tied the burrow to the inside of the corral. So Scott's out there doing the show. Scott got killed. Like about 4 people are down. They're all laying there dead. The guy gets shot off the roof. He goes over the top. Well, not yet. They're not dead yet. He goes off the roof, sees the burrow there, tries to move to miss the burrow on the way down in midair, lands funny. I don't know if he broke his ankle or tweaked his ankle, but needless to say, he doesn't come riding out. So they call the ambulance.
Yes.
Well, the show's still going on. The crowd's there. The ambulance pulls up, and there's a bunch of dead people laying on the ground, including myself. At that point, I was shot. And
yeah, Steve was a volunteer.
They were all checking us out. And I'm like, no, it's not me. It's the guy. It's the guy back there. So that was fun to see the paramedics reaction when they pull up and there's a bunch of people laying there.
Nowadays, it's not funny anymore. That's why we don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Back
then, it was humorous.
Oh yeah. Do I dare say them jumping out of the second story window then?
That's where I thought you were going. Honestly.
That's where I am going.
That was funny.
That's where I am going. So Scott, when he moved into the apartments, was on the second floor. And I was doing a lot of stunt work at that time. And we said, why not? It's funny as all heck. Let's do it. So, and like I said, in today, no way would we do this.
No, not a chance.
And Scott would get shot.
Yes.
But
got to remember, folks, we're entertainers and actors, you know.
So to us, this seemed funny.
Yes.
But so I tell his wife to wrap herself up. She's in a towel or in the drapes? I think it was in a towel, right?
Yeah, she was in a towel.
So she wraps up in a towel. She's wearing shorts and a tube top because that was popular back then. Yeah.
So when she put the towel on her, it looks like she was still wearing nothing but a towel.
So I had my shirt off in my hand. Did I have my shoes in my hand or did I have my shoes on?
You had your shoes on because you needed them to jump.
And my pants on. So I scream. I whip the window open. I scream. Now, this is a busy road. There's a major road going by here, and it's a pretty popular
4-lane highway.
Busy apartment complex. There's people always walking. I jump and scream and run out. You didn't tell me your husband was coming home. Scott levels the double-barrel shotgun out the window, loaded with blanks, with theatric blanks, and fires it at me. And I hit the ground like I got shot.
Yes, face first. I mean, belly flop on the ground.
It was great. So I guess the one couple that was walking one direction
just literally turn around and went the other way.
Direction. Yeah, cars stopped and then left, and then I just got up and got the hell out of there.
Yes, but you forgot that I yelled out, "That'll teach you to play around with my wife."
Yeah. So, we're dumb.
Yeah, well, we were like 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
20,
yeah.
You were probably 18. I was probably 21. I think we're 3 years apart, aren't we?
Yeah, I had to be older than that, though. Were you 21? You were living in the apartments?
Yes.
Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, so we were young and dumb. All right, so you're in the apartments. What were you doing for a living then?
Working at a donut shop. Susie was working there also.
Okay, so you guys are still working.
She tried to live in Illinois for 18 months and couldn't handle it.
All right, so then she had to go back up to her family. And
what did you just had to get away from the Illinois traffic, which is completely different than farm traffic in Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, where everybody waves as you drive by.
Yeah, they do, too.
They leave the keys in their car.
Pedestrians and ducks and dogs and cats. Everybody stops.
Yeah, and you leave your keys in your car.
With the windows open.
Yeah, because if somebody was trying to steal your car, to get shot.
Yeah. Or if somebody tried to get in your car that didn't belong there, everybody in the parking lot would say, "Hey, that's not your car."
Yeah. So what was your transition back to Wisconsin? What did you do for work then?
When I moved back up here, the first thing I did is I ended up driving a school bus because it's the only thing I could find. Because when I went to the unemployment office there, because that's what you did up here. They had the unemployment office and the job service. That's what it's called, job service. When I went up to job service, I gave them my resume, and they go, "You're like overqualified for everything around here." I'm like, "Okay, so what do you got for me? How about a school bus driver?" I go, "Really?" He says, "Well, you're really overqualified. All we got is factory work." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll be a school bus driver."
Okay. So next transition after school bus driver. Get us to today.
All right. Well, real quick, I did try a couple factory jobs because the school buses are only 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. And I was not making enough money. I looked into food service. They were paying minimum wage up in Wisconsin, which, back then it was like $3 an hour. It's like you can't live on $3 an hour. So if you went to a factory, you got at least $7 an hour, which is better. So the problem is I don't do well in factory work. Factory work requires you to not have an imagination whatsoever. You have to, same part 3,000 times a day. Awesome for some people, not me. It just drove me crazy. So I ended up opening up my own restaurant, or I bought an existing restaurant.
Okay. And from there?
Found out that I wasn't making enough money there, so I was working part-time at Ski Hill until I broke my leg. because you get free skiing at New York at a ski hill. And I did something stupid because I was getting cocky. I was doing flips and all that kind of good stuff. And, yeah, things happen. So when I broke my leg, the guy who was running the business for me robbed me blind, and I ended up having to go out of business. Then I went to work for Swadix Sales as the very first trolley driver in Lake Geneva.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Hope and myself were the two first drivers. She got hired the day before me, but I went out on the route the day before her. So she keeps saying I was hired first, but I drove first.
Yeah, you were the first driver.
And of course, then they found out that, I drove school bus and I had a couple other things on there. So they hired me to drive a fuel truck, which was kind of interesting. Did that for 3 years. Then they were having some major problems with all their convenience stores. They owned 13 convenience stores, and they were having a lot of trouble with theft, managers that weren't doing their jobs and stuff like that. And one of their locations, which was just over the Illinois border in Walworth, which used to be a huge moneymaker, was losing money all of a sudden. And they had interviewed like 40 people, and nobody was worth a damn, which is,
That's tough,
so, yeah. So I said, hey, why didn't you let me do it? They go, well, because you're a truck driver. I said, did you ever look at my application when you hired me? I've been working since I was 7 years old. I've been in management before I came to you for 5 years already. This is a piece of cake for me. So they put me in that location, in the Walworth location. It was number 11 out of 13 locations in sales and profitability. In 4 months, I was number one, and I had increased profits by 300%.
Nice. So what got you into your own business then?
I was really getting frustrated with, I was making tons of money. When I say 300%, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars profit they were making. I asked for a 25 cents an hour increase in wages for two of my top employees. The owner of the company, the owner's son, which is also part owner of the company, told me we need to do a 4-month Walworth County wage survey before we'll even consider it. So I gave my 2 weeks notice, which they immediately relieved me at that point. Still paid me for the 2 weeks, but because, yeah.
It's nice that they paid you. Wow.
Yes. Well, yeah. So, and then I decided to go back into entertaining. So I started Scott Thomas. Well, I was already doing it as a part-time gig, just doing mobile DJ service.
Okay.
But then I turned into a full-time gig. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still had some part-time jobs working in restaurants and doing other things while I was building up the business. But
so you got the DJ business built up. You got you were doing really good in that until the economy dumped.
Yes.
Everybody was
doing
in
a $250,000 a year as a DJ company.
Yeah, pretty good. And then DJ dried up, but you were supplementing it with the Y drive, or were you just switching over?
Supplementing it. Scott Thomas Entertainment was the name of the company. I had built it up from just me to a 7-system outfit. I had 7 DJ shows out every single Friday and Saturday, plus at least one show every weekday of the week. When the economy tanked, it happened fast. I went from $250,000 to $40K in about 10 months. I was going crazy trying to figure out what to do. My brother-in-law had an old school bus that he used to do bachelor parties with that he hadn't used in like 3 years. So he sold it to me for $1,500, and I started doing bachelor and bachelorette parties for the same people I was doing their weddings for, and it took off from there.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
And that pretty much brings us up today, where I'm still running both businesses plus one other company called STE Properties with 2 rental houses and 2 rental barns, and one of them I'm trying to turn into a wedding, that barn venue.
Yeah, that's awesome. That'll be very, very cool when that gets going. Hopefully next year, right?
Yes. Got my fingers crossed that we can pull this off.
That'll be great. So I'm just moving a bunch of show subjects around.
As usual, we just keep talking, and now we've already eaten up a ton of time. So.
Yeah, we're already done with the show. We're just going to do one story on the, after this, and then I'm going to tease the next show with the remainder of the other one because you hit a subject that I love, and I was like, whoa, that's a whole show in itself also.
Yes.
So now it's time to switch over to our genuine positivity message and continuing with the Fun Guy, the Entertainer theme. Scott is going to tell us our genuine positivity message.
Summer is winding down and the heat and humidity are finally abating. Harvest has begun and those of us in the Northern Hemisphere are enjoying fresh fruits and vegetables with a taste you just can't get from shipped in produce at the grocery stores. Thank you, farmers.
Yes. Even me, I like corn on the cob this time of year.
Oh, God, yes.
I mean, I used to like I think we talked about it where you just drive up to these little sheds that people have on their property with paper bags, and you go grab the corn, throw it in the bag, and throw $5 in the little tray, and you leave.
There's right. We still have those around here, but you know what this weekend is? As you folks know, we're recording this before the actual weekend. But this weekend's show, this comes out on Saturday, is Corn Fest this is Walworth County Fair this weekend. Next week is Corn Fest. So we got 2 weekends in a row where sweet corn is being roasted, boiled, charcoaled, all sorts of stuff for 2 straight freaking weeks. And it smells so awesome around here.
I love corn. I love sweet corn. So that's great. Well, thank you for that, Scott. And our next subject is something that both Scott and I hold very dear. And I don't think Scott knows. I mean, I'm not like crazy nutso Disney, but I'm pretty.
Well, you are crazy nutso, and Disney's another thing. So this sort of goes together.
Yeah, I'm just not. I don't pay to go to the so D23 just happened last weekend, and for those who don't know what D23 is, Disney 23 for 1923, Disney, very very cool. But it's a convention they had for the fans all year. You can actually join. It's like $100 for a person.
Yes.
And you get 4 magazines. You get these collector pins and stuff like that. But we'll talk more about that on the next show because there's a lot of cool stuff. They announced all the new movies that they're coming out with, and Disney really owns everything now. They the Good Morning America on ABC. They own Marvel. They own Pixar. They own.
For a while there, they weren't doing so well, and all of a sudden, it's like I don't know what happened.
Michael Eisner. They got rid of Michael Eisner.
Yeah,
Michael Eisner sold Pixar off. Okay, I thank God Disney bought Pixar back.
Yes,
but Michael Eisner. Yes, no, Michael, you're not a good guy. I'm sorry. You were not my favorite Disney CEO. But yeah, so. What was I saying? All these things they have, but Star Wars. They have Star Wars. And people are upset they have Star Wars, but I'm like, hey, if they didn't get Star Wars probably wouldn't get done.
That's right.
So at D23, which is actually here in California, I could have went. They announced another origin story movie.
Yes.
Finally able to say it. And, oh, God, why can't I think of Ewan's last name?
Ewan McGregor.
McGregor. Yeah, Ewan McGregor finally got to talk. Like all these stars are finally getting to talk. They're all filming. They're all doing stuff, and they weren't able to talk about all this stuff.
Oh yeah, there are gag orders on everything. It's been like that for the past 10 years. Every one of the major studios is doing the same thing.
But D23 is where they were allowed to announce it, so now they're allowed to bring it out. And the big one that Scott keyed on was that Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yes.
Series.
Yep.
Yes, series, not just an origin story, one movie, a whole series.
Yeah, they're probably going to do a trilogy.
So how cool is that?
Very.
So that's very exciting. But there are a ton of movies that they announced that are coming out. Tina Fey is now part of the Disney family. There's a movie called Soul that's going to come out. Frozen 2 came out. They sang the new song from that. Idina Menzel. That's right, John Travolta. I know how to say Idina Menzel. Kristen Bell was there, So, yeah, it was very, very cool. So we are.
You know who's not there?
Who?
Us. We should be there.
I know. Yeah, we were.
Disney, we will let you buy us.
That's right. Disney, you can make us part of all the things that you own.
Yes.
By what happened.
We'll even be reasonable about it.
Even the What Happened franchise. Just pay off all our debt and give us the salary we can live off, and we're good to go.
That's right.
But I definitely want to talk about the new Star Wars hotel.
Ooh, yes.
New Star Wars hotel is super cool. A lot of super stuff that they announced and stuff like that. Yeah, very, very exciting. So I'm teasing the heck out of our next show for all this Disney for you guys who are Disney fans. But the Disney hotel is going to be a starship.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be a star cruise ship. And I think it's really cool because the way they've got it, I forget the name of the company that they're going to have that owns the cruise lines. And then the ship is a cruise. They could be like land cruise ships, and each hotel can be named a different cruise ship name.
That would be cool.
Right? How cool is that? Did you know about that, or is this news?
I did not. It's all news to me.
Yeah. You'll have to research all this stuff, or I'll put some links up for our next show so you can take a look at
yes.
that. But
I heard rumors earlier in the summer when I was so swamped I couldn't check anything about all the cool stuff that was in the works, but it was all rumors. Nothing was verified.
Yeah, it's the Chandrella Starline is the name of the cruise line that
right.
owns the cruise ship, and the one that's being built, the first one that's being built is called the Halcyon.
Well, from what I understand, the original thought was the what's the one with Bruce Willis, the Fifth Element.
Yeah, Fifth Element.
The
Lost in Paradise.
Right. We had done that, and somebody said that was what they were working off for the whole general idea of making this happen.
Yeah, so it's very, very cool. But with that, we need to go to it's hard to stop me from talking. That's a hard row to hoe.
That's right. That's our phrase origin story, because it's a farm-related thing, and my genuine positive mission was thanking the farmers for making this healthy and full.
Right. And it's somewhat funny because there are variations of this. One of them, it's a tough road to hoe.
Yes.
Like if you're hoeing a road, yeah, it's going to be tough.
It is.
Because in the old days, they actually used a hoe to clean the weeds out between the rows, especially in the cotton fields.
Yes.
And it was really tough to get all the weeds out from between, and it was a hard row to hoe.
Yes.
So what is the origin of the – well, it's something
first, technically the definition is something that is difficult to do or deal with.
Yes.
Okay. So the row in this
and the proper way to say it is a hard row to hoe, because your crops are in rows. That's it's correct. A hard row to hoe.
Unless, of course, you're an alcoholic when you're planting, then your crops are squiggly all over the place. But that's a whole other story.
Okay.
But anywho, the row in this expression is a line of planted crops, and the word hoe means to work with a tool with a thin, flat blade on a long handle to cultivate, weed, or loosen the earth around plants. This expression is often found today written or said as a hard road to hoe, a variant considered incorrect by most usage guides. Incorrect it may well be. We typically do not use a hoe on a road, but it has been in use for almost 200 years. Yay! A print released in 1840 as a satire about Martin Van Buren's re-election campaign prominently featured a text, "A hard road to hoe," or the White House Turnpike. Macadamized.
Yeah, I don't know what that
means. By the North Benders, Jabern Van Buren. What?
Yeah, exactly. You should have read that before you put that up there.
Yeah.
But explaining what hard row to hoe is apparently a hard row to hoe.
Yes.
So with that, I want to say thank you for watching.
And if you feel our show is not a bad life decision,
please subscribe, like, watch our other shows and channels. Stay tuned next week for the finishing of the D23. Go take a look at that. That's pretty cool. So if you're a Disney fan, check that out. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you're a Pixar fan, I mean, Disney owns everything now. Definitely tune in for that show. We're going to have some cool stuff on there. But with that, I want you to live every day, and we'll see you on the next show.
Be genuine, positive, live and love life, and have a good one.